All right. Hello there, folks. We're live.
Hi.
We're live for yet another episode of Würfel. It's episode 7 already, and it's the episode for Ancient World Games. But we're gonna go through
Whatever that
different,
means.
whatever. Yeah, we're gonna go through the definition as we approach our top tens topic. But we're also gonna talk about recent plays. We're gonna talk about the desired play. Then we're gonna play guess that game, and finally we're gonna, or let's say, yeah, that will be the last one, like second to last. It's a new segment, new topic, and that's called "What's on Kickstarter," "What's on
Uh-oh.
KS," where we show
I
or
don't know. I
talk
never go to
about,
that website.
yeah, where we talk about our choice of the Kickstarter game that's still live and going on right
Okay.
now on Kickstarter that has probably funded or not, but you can still jump on that if you will find it fitting your uh, playing style and so on.
Great.
Yeah, but before we go, but let's say I think yeah, let's just start with recent plays. I don't want to talk about anything else right now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and to be honest, I haven't really played anything because I didn't have enough time, or I couldn't get my colleagues or anyone else to play with me during certain days.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
how
it's a
sad.
it's time for vacations and so on. Everyone is just out of town and so on. So that's how it is. But I think maybe before no, after the last recording, I think we played Scythe still. We played
Good.
we played one or two games of Scythe campaign. So a little bit of that. But I have nothing to talk about regarding recent plays. I'm not gonna talk about Scythe again. What's yours?
Okay. Well, let's see. So I have been traveling a lot lately for work. I've been driving around the southeastern United States and staying in lots of hotels. And because of that, I usually take a game or two with me that I can play by myself in the hotel room. And so I have played two amazing solo games lately. The first of which is just a brand new one, just came out. It is called Black Sonata. Do you know much about this one? That's Black Sonata. It's a game based on Shakespeare and his sonnets, and you're looking to find the mysterious dark lady about whom he wrote. It is a solo game, and it is a, how should we say this? It is a hidden movement deduction game, for one. And those are things that you think wouldn't really work with a solo game, but they really do. The hidden movement aspect is handled really well through these little tiny cards that have holes in them. And if you're trying to find out where the Dark Lady is, you can hold up the card to your current location and see if you can see her through the hole or not. And she moves through this programmed movement, so you can sort of reason out where she is. And it just really works quite well. The deduction element isn't that hard, but maybe I need to play on a harder level of difficulty. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm playing a little below my skill level for now. But I've really enjoyed it. I'm just amazed at the design of this game. That's Black Sonata.
Oh right.
If you
And
want
there
my second, since you haven't played anything else, I can do my second one right now if you want.
you can. Sorry, there was a minor interruption
Oh,
in the internet.
well,
So on
that happens.
with the internet. Yeah. What before that? I wanted to mention just that's one thing I now remember is that you can always join in the chat of YouTube Live,
I can?
and everyone can
Okay.
who is watching live, by the way. But yeah, if nobody's watching live and you're gonna watch it afterwards,
Then
then you
don't.
can write in the comments below as well. So
Okay.
yeah, but live is the live. The chat is live. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, but your
Great.
second recent play.
My second recent play, also in the category of solo games to play alone in the hotel, is Mr. Cabbage Head's Garden. Mr. Cabbage Head's Garden is a solo game, as I mentioned. I actually, it was my first 3D printed project was to print an insert for the box. I recently got a 3D printer and I've been printing stuff with it. It's a game where you are Mr. Cabbage Head and you are cultivating your garden. You're trying to organize your garden in such a way that you can get the most points possible. There's sort of a score, a leveled, a tiered system where you're trying to get as many points as possible. In the meantime, though, Mr. Cabbage Head's neighbors will come in while he's away on vacation and wreak havoc in his garden. And so you're managing. You've got four annoying neighbors, and you're trying to manage which one's going to come and sort of minimize the interruption that the neighbor is going to have by by coordinating the way your garden is planted. And you're also working on certain achievements. If you plant certain things in certain rows, you've got a 3x6 grid, and depending
Mm-hmm.
on where you plant the different vegetables, you can get different bonus points. That's really it, but it works well for a solo game. And it's definitely it has unique artwork. Apparently it's art from old seed packets. It's kind of a little bit creepy. It's a bunch of people with vegetables for heads, but hey, or bodies. It's a fun little game to play when you're on the road. Very small footprint and enjoyable alone.
Good. Some solo games on
I
a
have
podcast.
played games with people as well, but those are the two that I'm highlighting today.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, you don't have to play with those filthy animals. Those people. I'm just kidding. But all right. So this was recent plays without my additions because maybe I'll play something later.
Good choice.
Good choice.
Also, I'm going to show, just sort of since I'm on the topic, I made these. I'm working on upgrades to my copy of Wingspan, and I've been printing these cute little 3D printed birdhouses to replace the boring action tokens. So if you have a 3D
Ooh,
printer, those are available. And
cool.
I think though I've only printed one color so far because I'm still learning, but it's been a lot of fun.
Good. That's really nice. Really cool. All right. Let's go to a next topic, and that's desired play. And for the desired play, I picked a game that I discovered today, by the way.
Mr. Cabbage Head's Garden.
No, it's a new game from Quinnet Games because I like Quinnet games. I mean,
Something.
they're nice, they're different sometimes, and overall, they have nice mechanics. I picked Terramara, and I'm not sure if Terramara. I think Terramara is going on Kickstarter. Let me see if I can share the screen with you all, and like that. All
Oh,
right, the
I
infinity is
see into
gone.
infinity.
Now you don't see into infinity. Now you see a usual thing. Yes,
Yes.
good. So this is Terramara, and really cool cover. It's these are the designers I think who made Lorenzo, Magnifico, something like that, and so on.
Ooh, I like them.
So it's his country, Italy, and it's the Bronze Age villagers from northern Italy, and so on, and how they traded and traveled and so on. And I like that you play as a chief and you develop your clan and explore lands far away, so you can trade with other villages and you get the most points at the end of the game. That's basically that. But the cover looks really cool. I like
It
that.
does.
And I don't know, it just looks really cool, and that's what drew me in. But also, Euro games from Quintet Games are usually really cool, and developing your clan and exploring, and probably, and it says record placement here, a modular board and ancient. So I really like the theme. I like the box art so far, and it's Michael Menzel. So, and probably developing your clan, which means kind of an engine building type thing, and progression. So why not? That's Terramara, my desired play pick, but I'm not sure. I think maybe it will come out in Essen. They usually do Kickstarters for Essen releases as kind of pre-orders. So
Yeah, they
let's
do.
wait. Let's wait for that. So that's my pick for desired play and stop.
And infinity.
Good. Your pick?
Well, my pick, so as I was preparing for our topic today, I started thinking about games that would fit with the ancient world theme. And one game that by its name seemed to fit and probably would have been on my list, I guess it's a spoiler,
Hmm.
is a game called Antiquity. But I ended up not putting it on the list because it's a little bit too recent. It's sort of late Middle Ages, early Renaissance. But Antiquity is a game I haven't played forever. I bought some upgraded pieces for it, but I haven't even put them in the box yet. It's from Splotter, so it's going to be a heavier game with maybe drabber components. But it's a game where it's the interesting thing I remember is it has sort of that Tetrisy build, fill your board with tiles type of a feel. But you also pick your end game conditions. Like
Hmm.
you say, I'm going to win if I do this or that. And there's a bunch of different ones you can pick, and they all give you special abilities. And there's one where you have to, I forget which one it was, but where you pick this end game condition, and in order to win, you have to achieve two of the others, but you have all the special abilities if you pick that one. It's just a very interesting game where you're sort of building up your resources, and the more you build, the more pollution and corruption comes in, so you're less efficient. It's, I guess, an engine deconstructing game while you work toward various victory conditions. I would love to play it again. It's been a long time since I've even opened the box, but that is Antiquity.
All right. Hmm. Don't know much about it, but
It's not your kind of game.
sounded nice. But let it be then. Yeah. All right. Now let's go to another topic. We're gonna bust through those topics, and that's called Guess That Game. And we're gonna do. I'm just gonna do one game this time. It's probably
Oh,
one game
only
this time.
one.
Yes,
Okay.
and we're gonna do one game because we're gonna have another. I forgot about the other game. Right? Let's be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, then
But
I'll only do one as well.
let me do. Let's do two games, and I will think about the other game. Let's do the first one. I don't just on a get go. But the first game. So guess that game. Basically, what's the topic and what we're doing here is that we're gonna give hints about a certain game, and the other person must guess that game. That's really simple. And while you are watching this, you can also try to guess that game and see if you were right. So, my first hint for my first game is that it's it's ugly.
Oh, is it Carpe Diem?
No.
Okay.
All right. So my second guess is that it has dice and it is a Euro game, kind of a combined hint.
Well, let's see. Golden Ages doesn't have dice. I don't know. I'll need another hint.
All right. So it has tiles.
It has tiles.
Yes.
Is it Lagrange?
No.
Okay.
All right. You will probably guess it with the next hints. The designer is my all-time favorite, Stefan Feld. All-time favorite. Yes.
Well, that's a lot of. Is it Castles of Burgundy?
Oh, it is.
All right. There we
And it's
go.
right. Good.
There are so many games that fit all those clues, unfortunately.
Yeah. I try to start slowly and then build up.
All right. Well, are you ready for mine?
Yes.
My game is a game in which you have to decide from turn to turn whether you will coexist or conquer.
Uh, is it Inish?
No,
All
it is a
right.
game about being hungry and horny.
Hungry and horny. Uh, I don't know. Huh.
It is, that's fine. It's a game that has a couple of expansions, neither of which I think has at least two expansions and at least another version of it, but nothing really has topped the base game.
Hmm. You want to be hungry and horny, and you coexist, or you?
Or conquer.
Or conquer. I don't know.
No. Right. The last clue I have is it's a game in which you must adapt to survive with current conditions.
You must adapt to survive to current conditions. Oh my god. I totally have no. Maybe I don't know that game. Is
The
it?
game is Evolution.
Oh, I see.
See, now you got hungry and horny because you can get the horns. Yeah.
Yeah, I. The thing is that I've played Evolutions a long time ago, so I don't really remember that game that well.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay, let be. Yeah,
It is a game and it's not obscure.
yeah. I know Evolution, but yeah, probably because I haven't played it for a long time. I don't remember exactly, but now it makes sense. All right, so let's go to my next one. Um, let's do this one. So it's a very colorful game.
Is it Sagrada?
No, it has cool wooden pieces.
Is it Root?
No, it um. The third hint is that it has specialists. So that.
Is it what is that game called? Yamatai.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, you guessed it.
Okay.
That's
There
Yamate.
we go. All right. You want my second one?
Yeah.
This is a game with no luck, or almost no luck.
Russian railroads.
Nope. This is a heavy economic game.
Container.
No.
Suburbia. No.
Nope. This is
No.
a game that combines the joys of HR management with supply and demand,
What's HR management?
like human resources.
The supply and demand. Panamax.
No. This is the only game I know of in which you can take on the role of a restaurant called Fried Goose and Donkey.
Oh yeah, food chain magnets.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I tried my best.
You did.
So, all right. So whoever guessed all four games, not like me, doing a bad job about that. So then you can definitely uh, be happy about that.
Well, that's a good
but
reward.
without further ado, let's go to our next topic, and it's what's on Kickstarter. And that's a topic where we talk about a game that's currently live on Kickstarter that you can still back, and that we wanted to highlight for one or another reason.
Okay.
So, and my pick, and because Kyle has a different device he's streaming from, he cannot share the screen, but I can do that, and I can go through the infinity loophole and then share my screen with you and show you what's the game I'm going to talk about. Let me do that.
Okay.
And that's Chocolate Factory. It's for 1 to 4 chocolatiers, and 1 to 4, which is nice for you, Kyle.
Thanks.
But this one says, I mean, but it's a tactile Euro game. But what I like about this one is that why I picked this one. It's Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert. They've done several games, and let's say Elysium is one of the games they've done together, which I really liked. So this is a combination of designers, which is cool. And this is I like the theme. I mean, like this is different, and I like themes that are kind of nowadays themes. Like for example, Smartphone Inc. has the smartphone building company thing in it, and then we have the pipelines, those new games, and so on. I like all of that. Or the Wildcatters. I haven't played it yet, but I'm into these kinds of real themes, realistic themes, let's say. And so this one has really cool pieces, as you can see. And it's about the
Yep.
factory of doing the chocolates. And I don't know much about this one, but let me just show you one thing as I wrote it down. It's already funded. So deluxe edition has player markers and blah, blah, blah. Stretch goals. Oh, look at that. So this is kind of a conveyor belt you slide in. And that's really cool. I like that very much. I don't know. Just like it. Looks really nice. And it looks very... The art is nice. The theme is really cool. It looks Euro-y, but I don't know. Just a really nice thing. And maybe you probably even backed it. Who knows?
No, I did not back that one.
This one says Soul of Orion, lose or win or lose game. Factory manager. So
Good.
has a solo mode as well. And various reviewers talking about the game. So why not? Chocolate Factory. That's my pick for what's on Kickstarter. And Stop Infinity.
Stop Infinity. Well, do you want me to send you the link to mine, or do you want to just talk about it?
You can send me the link, and I can
There you
show
go.
it while you talk about it.
I am sending it right now. It just came out on Kickstarter today.
Oh, I
and
know
I
that
backed
one.
it right away.
Yeah, I know that one. All right, so
And that
and
there we go. The Infinity loophole worked. So this is consumption, food, and choices. It's not necessarily the most exciting of names, but it looks like an interesting and different
let me just
theme. It's about...
do something. Just I'm sorry about that. It's how do I do it the other way so I can I don't know.
Well, it might
Let's do it
not
like that.
work.
No. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
there you go. I can see it. So it's consumption, food, and choices. Boring name, but an interesting theme. You basically take on the role of a person who has various different diets that you're trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to make different choices that are going to give you different features that are going to go into your diet. But if you exceed it, then you end up having to store the food in your body, I think. And it's just an interesting way. It almost
Hmm.
sounds like the game Funny Friends, but with a more serious theme, where you've got kind of this goal and you're making choices that are going to help you to realize that goal and are based in sort of some real world experiences. And it's got a bunch of different modules that might end up being added through stretch goals, which I'm sure will be. And those are, there's an allergy module, and there's a solo game where I guess you're fasting and trying to survive while fasting. But it's basically it's just, I like the theme about it. I think it's going to be an interesting topic that hasn't been overdone, and it's kind of a worker placement type game. And I think, and I like food too.
So
Their
let
pick
me
of
see.
the week: consumption, food, and choices.
All right, so it says it's 60 for the expansion thing and wooden token upgrade pack. Yeah,
Yeah, which is what I backed it as.
yeah, the difference is $12, so probably you should get
Well,
this one.
yeah, and the shipping's kind of expensive, but that's okay. It always is.
The Colossal Games doing that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Worker placement game. So I feel like, oh, let's stop that.
Ooh,
Infinity. Are we back?
we're
Good.
back.
We're back. All right. So what else do we have here? So these were the what's on Kickstarter. This was on Kickstarter segment with our picks. And the last thing we're gonna do, and we blast. What's the time? Well, we blasted through the topics, and that's nice. We're saving the time. Yeah, I'm just I don't know. Today I'm very confused. I don't know why. I just don't know what to say, and my mind is just empty.
That's kind of every day for you, right?
I don't know. My brain just has died 2 hours ago already.
No comment.
Yeah, maybe. But all right, let's go to the top 10, and it's the top 10 ancient world games. Now, let me just explain what I did here. So for me, ancient games are games that are set in the ancient world. That's usual thing, yeah. All right, but I also included mythology because mythology is the ancient world, and it's kind of a, for me at least, is something that connects to ancient world very much because we have
Okay.
mythology from ancient Rome, ancient Greece, and so on, blah blah. So
See,
yeah,
I did the opposite of that. I specifically excluded anything mythological and only went with ancient world. And I kind of defined ancient world as pretty much anything before about the Middle Ages. So,
hmm.
so you will not
Uh,
see. I don't think you'll see anything mythological in mine.
yeah, but what I try to do is something that is set in kind of a before Christ universe timeline
That's
because
a very realistic universe.
yeah, because ancient for me, yeah, it's like, yeah, we can say when the Middle Ages started. That's why. That's
Right.
where.
That's why you heard that I excluded antiquity because it felt a little bit too modern,
Hmm.
which is kind of ironic. And I actually don't think, looking at my list, that I have any post-Christ games, although I don't really know the timeline on some of these. So some of
Hmm.
them are right around there. I also wanted to make sure theme games because it could easily be that.
What?
Because well, there's so many games that are all ancient Rome themed, so I tried to include some that weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I haven't played that many ancient role games. I really like them, but yeah,
Oh,
I yeah, I included mythology because I think it's
okay.
integral part of the ancient worlds. But not all of them are. I mean, like there is still a lot of that other thing, not just mythology.
Yeah.
So
Well, and they
without,
excluded the game The Ancient World because it's not a real world.
yeah, yeah. I was always thinking about like, some of these games are the fantasy themed kind of games, but sitting kind of in the ancient world, but kind of not. You know, it's. Excluded those, and also I excluded. I was thinking about like, should I put like something like time stories on the list, and I
Yeah.
excluded that because there is one scenario, and because each game of time stories, each scenario of time stories feels like a separate game, though they have the same system. They're kind of separate games. I still thought
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna take time stories as a system, and
Okay.
this is about time traveling and not ancient worlds.
Sure.
All right, but before the further ado, let's go to number 10. And
Number 10.
my number 10 is a game, though I was thinking about, and I Googled, and I was thinking about, is it about the ancient world? And I wanted to, like you said, you didn't want to include too many ancient Rome themed games, yeah?
Yep.
And I wanted to include variety of different worlds. And one of
Yep.
those worlds is the Arabic world, and I'm talking about five tribes here. Yeah, we can say that five tribes is not. Five tribes is it's similar to that, 1001 Nights and Tales, Scheherazade, and so on. And the first I would Google about that where the first books came in and what are the tales and what they're talking about. You know, the first manuscripts and so on. They kind of talk about those old times, the ancient times of that, even though they are kind of fairy tales, but they're kind of not as well, you know. So I included five tribes, a really cool Mancala, uh, really cool game with Mancala mechanic and already nice gins as special abilities that enhance your uh, stay on the board, and you collect different meeples and can do actions with them. The expansions add to the game much more. It's just a very cool tactical but also strategy game. from Bruno Catala and Days of Wonder and great production. Five Tribes.
Yeah, I like Five Tribes. I didn't include it. I thought about it, but then I made my sort of mythological call and decided not to include it. But but it's a fine game, and it fits your definition, so I can't say much against it.
Good.
My number 10 game is a game I haven't played for a while, but I see it sitting here on the floor calling to me, and that is a game called Via Appia. And Via Appia is an older game. It's a Roman themed game about building a road between Rome and Brindisi. But it's kind of like if you've ever gone to a casino and seen that game where that machine where you put the coin in and you try to have it knock off the other coins. It sort of does that in a board game. And really, that's most of I mean, it's more of a Euro game where the theme is kind of pasted on, but you've got this cart of stones, and you occasionally have to sort of push stones onto that cart and try and knock other ones off so that you can use them to build your various pieces of the road. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
game I haven't played for a while, but it's certainly a different game. It's not really like anything else, and it's one that I enjoy with an ancient worldy theme via Appia.
Yeah. So I basically shared the screen here
I
so you
see.
can see the components, and yeah, it's from Queen Games. And I'm gonna
It is.
do the search because I don't know your picks, you don't know my picks. I'm gonna spoil that. Oh right, your number 10 is Via Appia, and everybody knows Five Tribes. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna show that anyway. So let's go to number 9. My number 9 is this is yet another mythology, and I told you I just wanted to include various countries, various tribes, and blah blah whatever. But my number 9 is Inish, and yeah, it fits my fits what I wanted to say. It fits my description of what I think about ancient world games. And in this one, you are very clans that are at war with each other, kind of, but you can go through peace as well. And you're exploring those new lands and trying to control them, and you're trying to become the chief of all the clans and become the ultimate player or whatever. So as you can see here, and this one is really nice because it has this Celtic myth, kind of a mythology or kind of feel to that. The artwork adds to that as well. And the game itself, with its really cool area control thing where you need to control 6 different clans, and you have those cards which are always the same. You have the drafting mechanism in there, and each game the cards for the usual cards for drafting are the same, but there are those epic cards which add the spice to those actions and make it very different each game. So I like Inish. It's really nice, and it's set in the ancient world of Celtic kind of a mythology, something like that.
Of Ireland.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's also realistic. There were
yeah,
those
yeah.
clans and chiefs and
I,
so on.
I I need to give this game another try. I've played it a couple of times, and maybe I was just playing it with the wrong people, but it's always left me kind of hollow. I mean, I can see why people like it, and I do like the interesting sort of reverse drafting that you do in it. Um, but I just maybe I just need to give it another try.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right.
So.
My number 9 game is definitely Ancient World. In fact, it's about as far back as you can go, and this is the game Neanderthal.
Mm.
And in Neanderthal, this is one of these Sierra Madre games, so it doesn't look great, and it has very complicated about 4 versions each time to make the box slightly bigger. A game where you are developing your type of person, and you have to develop different characteristics of your brain, and you have to develop whether you're going to
Ooh.
be a promiscuous uh, society or a monogamous society, and you have to develop different different you've got to find out how to eat. It's very much a caveman game, and I didn't want to go I also didn't want this to be my top 10 prehistoric games. So this is the only one of those you'll find on the list. Definitely not for everyone. Definitely heavier. Definitely a very he effort into researching the effects of various scientific and historical and archaeological themes on his game mechanisms. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one I really enjoy. It's probably my favorite of the Sierra Madre games, with the possible exception of Greenland.
Yeah.
Which I think you can play in sequence. You can play these two together. Um, Probably not for you, but one that I really enjoy and one that definitely is ancient. That is Neanderthal.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. I haven't played this one. I tried to play Greenland,
Hmm.
but I had the first edition, I think, from Essen a long time ago. But it had such a bad rules, and I couldn't get through it. I
Well,
just couldn't learn it.
all of his games are games that are best to learn from someone else who already knows them.
Yeah. But it's still, this is the second edition, I think.
Hmm. It is. I can
Yeah.
tell by the pictures. But anyway, I enjoy it. I don't want to do too many caveman games. We could probably do that as a list by itself. But it's definitely a good one, and it's a thinky one, and it's one where the decisions and the theme really come together nicely. And I really enjoy the way that it's designed. That's
Hmm.
Neanderthal.
All right. So let's go to number eight. And my number eight is, oh, I want to say hi, Stefan, by the way. Sorry, I haven't watched the
It's okay. I'm
topic.
watching it.
So, my number eight, no, I didn't want to include civilization themed games in on the list because civilization themed games are starting in the ancient times usually, but then going through times and you kind of develop. Um, you go through time basically, yeah. You don't stop in the ancient world.
Yep,
But some
I agree.
civilization themed games, though, they stop there and they kind of are there. And one of those civilization games is Rise of Tribes.
I
And
thought
Rise
you'd
of
have that on your list.
you think about that, yeah?
No, I thought
Because
you would have this one on your list.
yeah, because this one it feels kind of if you look at the cover and everything like that, it feels a little bit like the fantasy civilization theme game, and the theme itself is quite thin, but it's still different clans, warring clans, and in the ancient world, trying to conquer each other and build villages and get to 15 points, whatever, you know. So that's that. Rise of
As all the
Tribes.
ancient clans wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I like this one because it's very streamlined. It's extremely beautiful. The deluxe edition adds those really cool pieces, and you just collect resources. You build villages, and you're trying to get villages from other players and those territories and so on. For example, over here, and you have those dice. I really like the dice mechanism where you can get the cool you choose the action and you either get a kind of a best abilities out of that or the worst abilities out of that or something in the middle. So it depends if you have two sun, two moon, or whatever, you know.
Right.
And I really like how it all goes like smoothly, and the battle system is just so these are my meeples and your meeples, and we take meeples from each other until there's only one clan left. And it's
Hmm.
extremely smooth battle system, and it's nice. It's very family friendly, but there are those extra modules that you can add and make the game spicier. And definitely, you should do that if you wanna have a cruncher game of Rise of Tribes. I haven't tried the extras yet, but I really want to do try them. But overall, very streamlined, nice civilization themed games of those tribes warring and so on.
Great. I anticipated you'd have this on your list because you like it a lot. It's a fine game. I've enjoyed it, so I understand.
Good. Your
Right.
number eight.
My number eight is a game which I always say I learned with you, and it's a game I don't play very often, but it's one that I really enjoy, and that is Mare Nostrum. Mare
Hmm.
Nostrum has, it's basically one of several ancient civilizations. With the expansion, you can add in some mythology, but in the core box, you've got Egyptians and Greeks and Romans and Carthaginians, and I think there's somebody else too that I've forgotten. Phoenicians probably. And you're just sort of trying to get one of a variety of different end game conditions. You're moving around, you can fight, you can move up on various tracks and try and win by being the best in certain categories. You can try and win by building. I believe it was the pyramids you have to build if you want to win. There's a variety of different victory conditions. It's a game. I've not played it with two. There's some two-player rules, but I don't think I've ever used them. They were in the
Hmm.
expansion, I think. But it's just a good game that I was impressed when I played it, and I've really enjoyed it. And I think it embodies sort of the trade. Oh, the trading aspect's really interesting. Sort of the trade and the fighting and the development that went on in the
Yeah,
ancient world between all these ancient civilizations. That's why it's my number eight, Mare Nostrum.
yeah,
And
and
to be clear, the reprint, not the original.
yeah, the Mare Nostrum Empires,
Yes.
that one from Academy Games, and I really like the art as well, and the production. By the way, I want to mention the production is really cool. So
Yep.
I really like the helmets, whatever, and all the buildings and camels. But this is kind of a this is the Kickstarter production or something like that. It's the deluxe, I think.
Yes. All of the pieces come cardboard if you get the base game.
And
But
you could get pocket you can get poker chips or something like that
you
as
can
a
get
deluxe
poker
thing.
chips instead of the resources, but those I that's the only upgrade I don't have. I bought all of the upgrades after the fact, so not from the Kickstarter. But I the poker chips are the only one that's
Ooh,
hard to get, and they make the box apparently extremely heavy.
look at
So
that. That's really nice. Painted pieces.
no,
Anyway,
I wouldn't paint that one, but some people obviously did.
well, I
Okay,
like
well
it.
there
I
you
like
go.
it. Yeah. So that's your number eight, Barons from
It is.
Empires. Oh, right. So my number seven is set in yet another different world and has much more fantasy and mythology in it, but it's still the ancient world, and it kind of has embodiment of that because Egypt without its gods is no Egypt, and I'm talking about Kemet. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
and Kemet
That's
with
a bit
the
of a
yeah
stretch.
Kemet with the Tacit expansion because in my opinion, Tacity adds those extra modules and the black pyramids and so on, which spices up the game enough and to make it kind of Kemet itself is not an easy game. It's not like uh, what I wanted to say. It's a small game, let's say like that, and it doesn't take just 1 hour to play and so on. Anyway, so with the base game, it felt really cool, but I wanted it to feel, epic because the battles are going on all the time. And in order to win the game, you have to fight, and you also have to look at your pyramids and upgrade yourself. And you choose from all those different tiles, which are upgrades, and you kind of build your engine. Which I really like in this game, and you can acquire monsters or special abilities and so on, and you want to get your pyramids to higher levels so you can get better tiles and so on. And I really like how all the tiles of different colors are in a different set. So these are more for defense. This gives you more praying, and the red ones are more about attacking and so on. It has really clever combat system where you choose those different cards and so on, and you just want to attack. You want to attack and get points through that. You get points through other means as well, but yeah, I think the best way is just to go and punch each other. And I
Uh-huh.
like that in this game because it has a huge engine building part in it as well, and thus it adds very much to the game. So that's
Yeah,
Kemet, my number seven.
I like Kemet. I like it a lot. I have not played with the newest expansion yet. I keep
The
meaning to
newest is
buy it.
the
Seth. Seth.
Seth. Yeah, I I don't think I even want to play with that. I don't own Kemet anymore, but I would gladly play it.
Oh.
But I'm not sure I would like one versus all
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
Kemet itself is just such a great game of engine building that doing one versus all of that, I don't feel good about that. Anyway,
I'm curious to try it at some point, but I so far have not gotten around to it yet. So
yeah,
I like Kemet. Again, I did not pick Kemet because I would have had I not excluded the mythological
yeah,
aspects. So,
yeah.
um,
So
there we
we go
are.
different ways, and thus we
We
have
do.
very different lists, which is cool.
We
More
do.
different games. Your number
Well,
7.
my number seven is probably the most ancient of the ancient worlds, and that's pretty far since I had Neanderthal. But my number seven is a game called Primordial Soup, and it is a game where you play an amoeba and you're swimming through this primordial soup from which life apparently began, and you are developing your amoeba, buying traits, and trying to really stay alive. It's the game of it's about as ancient as you can get. It's all about eating the poop of other amoebas because that's how you stay alive. And the components aren't great. The wooden components are, but the cards are kind of lackluster. And really, all you're doing is, you sort of swim around in a circle unless you develop traits that allow you to swim in different directions. You can develop the ability to eat other amoebas. It's a lot of cubes all over the board, but it really comes together in an interesting way. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. And it's about as ancient as you can get. That is Primordial Soup.
And that's that. You can see Z-Man
It's
games.
kind of a
It's not
cheat. Uh,
97.
Yeah, it's pretty old. It's been around for a while. There was another one that came out that was called Urland that I don't think came out in English. That was about sort of coming onto land and being developing as dinosaurs. But I like the original better, Primordial Soup.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. I really know. I knew this game existed, but I know nothing about the game, so can't really comment on that.
Well, it's pretty old, but it
That's
still
fine.
holds up well. So I
It
wouldn't mind
says
seeing
it
it be
says
a.
prehistoric, so kind.
It is
It's
definitely
it's
ancient world.
it's. No, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like that's where I was also thinking like, huh.
I felt like
If
I
the
might be a
planet,
little bit.
if we talk about, let's say, there's a game about a where the planet is still forming and so on, is it
Hmm.
ancient world? Uh,
Definitely. But I
uh,
felt like I might be cheating a little bit putting it on the list, but it doesn't get talked about a lot, so I decided to give
well, like
myself a pass.
prehistoric. Okay, maybe. We have our own views about what should be on the list and what not. You just have to accept that. Now, my let's go to number 6, and my number 6 is a game that um, now this is another game that has civilization theme to it, but it doesn't also feel like I'm progressing through time. And I'm talking about Seven Wonders Duel here. And in Seven Wonders Duel, I feel like this is the old ancient world,
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least for me. And oh, it says ancient category. Okay, good. So Seven Wonders Duel is a game about this kind of a drafting from the center and building up your tableau and basically trying to get your engine going, trying to get more resources, and then get those resources. Use those resources to get better cards and more cards and so on. It has those three kind of ages, and you have Seven Wonders Duel. Seven Wonders itself, I didn't like it that much, but Seven Wonders Duel is a two-player version of that, which has the drafting from the center, and it has the winning conditions of the most points, or the culture, or the military. So you have three different winning conditions you can go and try to approach. And I like how you build your tableau and get some resources cheaper, and it kind of adds to that passive interaction between players. And you have those wonder cards as well, and those wonder cards have really cool abilities. And if you build those wonders, and you can build 7 of them in total, which means that let's say in a two-player game, somebody will build
It
4 of them, somebody will build 3 of them. It's really cool. I
and
like that.
and it's always a two-player game.
Yeah, it's only a two-player game. Yeah, um, but I like how these some of these give you yet another turn, which is crucial sometimes, and some give you nice abilities, but they're not overwhelmingly powerful. And those science symbols as well, which give you some things. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just about this kind of a tactical approach, and you need to look after the military track, and but then collect points, because maybe the game will end in a tie, and you will then see whoever has the most points. And you should
Yeah.
also watch for the opponent not to get all the 6 different science symbols. So really nice tactical 2-player game. I really liked it.
Yeah, I really like this game as well. It's one of the best portable two-player games, other than Summoner Wars, which isn't that portable. It's the one thing about it is it has an expansion, and I liked the expansion, but the expansion has maybe too many symbols, and so it's very difficult to introduce new players to, and it adds an extra set of rules.
Yeah.
And even though I really like it, I almost never play with it just because it's a little bit more obtuse. But I
Hmm.
definitely agree. It has an ancient world feel, and it's a great game. Seven Wonders Duel.
Good. So you're number 6.
My number six. My number six is a game that is getting reprinted this year. Apparently, it's a game that was one of the earlier games that I got into when I was first
Hmm.
starting with games. It is an Egyptian themed game called Cleopatra and the Society of Architects.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in this game, you're collecting. You've got a deck of. You take the deck of resource cards and you shuffle them together, half face up, half face down, which is what I end up doing all the time. But you do it intentionally there, and you're sort of picking resources and trying to build different buildings. You're trying to build up this palace for Cleopatra. And the interesting mechanism in the game is that you've got some resources are corrupt, and if you use the corrupt resources, you take a corruption token and slide it gently into your corruption bank. And at
Hmm.
the end of the game, the person with the most corruption is eaten by a crocodile and loses. So you've got to sort of balance how much, but the corruption is much easier to take, and you can do a lot more if you get it. So you've got this nice balance between whether you want to take a lot of corruption or whether you want to do things the slow and easy way. You're showing there the old version, which is the version I have,
Yeah, that's the
and
new one.
that's the new one right there. But it's I'm excited to see if they make any changes to it, but I don't think it needed a lot of changes. It was a
It
great game.
has new 3D pieces, different pieces,
Okay, well, I
as
mean, the
I
other one had
show.
nice 3D pieces too. I mean, I don't know what they're going to change. I'm not even sure if I'll buy the new version, just because unless there's some major shift in it, because I have a perfectly serviceable old version. It's a game that I don't play as often anymore as I wish I did, but it's one that I definitely need to get out again. And it definitely fits ancient world, and it's a great little game.
Hmm.
Of Architects.
Oh, this is all the differences, the combinations, resources, blah blah. Players rewards. Great Priest is no longer activated in the same way. It's now 2 to 4 players, and specific system to manage the character cards.
Okay, well, we'll have to see. I'm curious to see what happens with it.
Yep. All right. Something I want to try, especially if there's a new edition and it's Bruno Cathala. It's the older game that I haven't tried from him, but I want to try. So the new edition just makes me want to try it even more.
Mhm.
All right. So let's go to number 5. And my number 5, yet another different world in another different country. And now we're gonna go to Japan. And no, that's not the one you're thinking about. But it's the game we talked about earlier, and you guessed this game. And I'm talking about Yamatai.
Mhm.
And I googled Yamatai and Queen Himiko, and this is set in the ancient world of Japan, and it's talked about in the Book of Three Kingdoms, in the Chinese Book of Three Kingdoms, stuff like that as well. So this is about you're building those different palaces and things for Queen Himiko, and she was the priest Queen Himiko. And basically, let the theme be. It's a little bit abstractish, but this game is gorgeous. First of all,
I
it's
mean, the
very
theme's
color.
barely there, but it is a great game.
Yeah, yeah, but it's still set in the ancient world.
Hmm.
And I like how you use the ships as resources. You build them around these islands in order to match these with the building tiles, and then you can build different buildings on it, so you can score more points, and you can also build palaces and so on. And you're trying to get a chain of different, not of different buildings, but of your buildings in order to score more points. But the coolest part, and first of all, I like it two-player the best, because with two players, you play with two pieces each, which means that you have like you can have two turns in a row, which some people hate about that one, and I like
Well,
about that one.
that's the only way I'll play it.
But because if you have only one turn, sometimes you don't have enough to do, and
Right.
with two
I agree.
turns, you can do cool stuff. And I
Mhm.
like that. So, but another great part about this game are the specialists. And these specialists, it's not here, but maybe these different specialists, they give you those enhancements to the actions that you already do, but they make you do them better. And you kind of customize yourself, and you make yourself very asymmetric and very different from another player eventually, because you are with those specialists, you will start focusing on certain things, because these certain things are now more powerful for you because you grabbed those specific specialists. And that's where the difference with five tribes comes in, and that's why I like Yamatai more, is that with Jins, I thought I get powerful, but the board gets emptier. With this one, the board gets more crowded, and I kind of feel the build up much more, and I feel the symmetry much more of those specialists. They are really, really cool. So, Yamatai, great game of
Mhm.
kind of a engine building and uh, kind of a central board resource building, because
Yeah,
those
I,
ships
I
are,
like
yeah,
I like it a lot. I don't know why it's compared to Five Tribes, but it is, and in my mind, it is as well. I mean, I can't separate the two,
yeah.
even though they're not very much like each other at all. But I would always choose Five Tribes over Yamatai,
It's kind of a,
personally.
this one is kind of board construction versus board deconstructions, and the
Yeah,
specialists are like
yeah,
Jins and so on, and the turn order for two players is the same. They use the same
hmm
system. So there are many things
yeah.
that kind of in
No, it's
reverse
a great game.
similar.
I, I
Yeah.
I definitely like it. So,
So
all
good.
right, all right. So mine, um, my copy has the title Jenseits von Theben on it, but I think it's just called Thebes in English. And if you search that on Board Game Geek, you'll get about a bunch of versions. You want the 2007 version, the Queen Games version. Um, so this is a game. It's not set in the ancient world, but it deals with the ancient world. You're
Hmm.
an archaeologist, and you're going through various different old civilization sites to try and dig up treasures from those ancient civilizations. So you can go to Egypt, you can go to Rome, you can go to Mesopotamia, and you do that by sort of building up your. You've got this little dial, and the dial is, I always called it an alethiometer because it came out right after that book did. But it tells you how much, you can spend a different amounts of time to pull different amounts of tiles out of this bag. And
Yeah.
in each bag is a few artifacts and a bunch of empty blank dirt tokens. And when you take stuff out, the dirt goes back in and you keep the good stuff. And you're just, I mean, there's a lot of luck involved, but there's also trying to manage your resources in such a way that you can make the most of your trips down to those locations and pull out, maximize your chances of getting the really good artifacts from each of those ancient civilizations. You've got, you can buy specialist abilities that you can. It's one of the first games I remember having that sort of a time track mechanism where you can do as many actions as you want until you catch up to the person in front of you. And so if you take a big turn, that's great, but you're going to have to wait a little while before everybody else catches up to you. It's just a great game that I played a whole lot, and I've always had a lot. That's Thebes, the original, not the card game.
Yeah. I wanted to try this one for some time already, because I like the Egyptian theme and travel and trying to pull something out of the bag and push a luck aspect. I just sounds really nice, but like when I look at this one, it doesn't look cool. It
It
looks
doesn't, but it comes
boring.
together really well. It comes
Mhm.
together. It's a lot of fun to play. I'll admit it does not look like the greatest, most exciting game, especially from that box cover, but it really works as an actual game
But
experience.
that's something that I wanted to buy at some point, by the way.
Hmm.
And at first I was like, who cares about? I don't like Queen games usually, but this one I was like, maybe I should buy because of the theme and so on and mechanics. So we'll see. Maybe at some point I'll try it. That's Thebes.
Maybe
All
you will.
right, let's go to my number four now. And my number four is something I'm not gonna search for because this is a crossover, and that's Mare Nostrum Empires.
I figured
Uh,
that would be on your list at some
yeah,
point.
I'm not gonna search for that. I'm just gonna add a small thing that with Mare Nostrum Empires, it totally feels like the ancient world, and I like how you customize yourself throughout the game with those kind of heroes or whatever, the historical people and so on. But it has the mythology in it as well. It feels like mythology, but not too much, you know. And I like the very tactical approach and very Euro approach about trading those chips and trying to get the different ones and just expanding yourself through different regions and trying to get those temples out, and it just looks extremely nice. Yeah, I like Marnostrum very much. Marnostrum Empires. So that's my
Well,
number
I
four.
I have I have nothing negative to say about that choice. So,
Good.
all right.
So
My
your
number
number
four
four.
is not a crossover. It is a Roman themed game.
Uh
It is a
huh.
game that is famously out of print. And I have the original in its sort of lunchbox format. I'm showing it right here, but you can find it. The game is Glory to Rome. And Glory to Rome was one of those early games where you had the multi use cards. You've got cards that can be used as resources for building things. You can use them as you sort of draft them as a team of specialists. You can save them for end game points. That is the version you're showing there is the ugly special black box edition. The original had kind of cartoony artwork, which was far superior.
Oh, this is the Polish
Um,
edition.
it's a game that's just the problem is it's sort of mired in litigation, in a morass of litigation. You can't find it, but I really enjoy it, even if it's not the best production values. It's not very long, but it's really thinky, and it was sort of reprinted in a monk theme. It was like Montagnai, but it's not as good. And I just it's one of the better Roman games, and it's definitely ancient world, and it is just I have a great time every time I play it. Glory to Rome,
Hmm.
my number
Yeah,
four.
it has so many print and play and different versions, Polish versions. And sometimes I've seen people using the art from one version and making it English version and so on.
Yeah,
So, for
I mean,
example, they use this art and then they just make it English.
yeah, people are making their own just because it's out of print for no good reason. It's just very it's there's a lot of people that have contested ownership of the intellectual property, which is very sad for people who would like to play it because I think if a nice reprint came out, it would sell very well.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've played Montagnai, and that was a nice crunchy thing, but maybe a little bit too crunchy of a multi-use cards for me.
Yeah, and there's another version of it called Uchronia, and it
Yeah, I
also is
liked
not
Uchronia as well. I played and
that one's
liked it.
also good, but nothing quite stands up to the original.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, so still showing Thebes, but
Yeah,
anyway. So let's go
that's
to.
why I brought mine because I figured it'd be easier just to show my my copy, and the original came in this lunchbox, so that was
Let me just show it for a moment. I'm gonna. What's where's your box?
oh my box. Well, that's quite the question. Um, Here's the box.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah,
It's a nice
got it.
plastic lunchbox.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now let's go
Gotta play
back
that
to
game.
screen sharing. All right, so let's go to number three. My number three is another game which takes place in Egypt, and this one I like it, and I feel the theme comes through because it has a lot of historical quotes on the cards, and I'm talking about Valley of the Kings.
Hmm.
And you're trying to make your thumb, sorry, thumb, make your thumb as rich as possible. And it's a deck building game. I wouldn't say it's very thematic game, but I like this one a lot because I really like the mechanism of the. Let me just show you. This is the box, and there are three different versions. Basically, they're just different cards, different sets of cards. You can mix and match them as well. But this one, as you can see, has the usual stuff like you get the gold, so you can buy more cards, and then you get the special ability on the card, and then there's the historical text about, like, real historical thing about this Book of Gates or whatever, Statue of Bastards. And what I like about this game, it has this pyramids over here, which crumbles as you buy those cards. You can buy the cards only from the lower part of the pyramid. Then the pyramid crumbles, and those cards that were not available will be available. But all those special abilities on the cards are extremely cool and different. All those different sets have different kind of approaches to abilities, and you will get the cards in the upper parts as well if you like to. You just need to build up your deck like that. But it's more of a traditional deck building game. And another cool part about this one, which differs from the usual deck building games, is that the scoring doesn't occur at the end where you're like, oh, I have this bunch of cards and then I'm going to score points for them. Instead, you need to entomb the cards and put them under your pyramids in order to score them, and you will score for the sets. Some cards are unique cards that give you extra points, but overall you want to get those sets of the same color but different cards of that color. Book of Gates, Book of whatever, Book of blah blah, and
Book of blah blah.
blah blah. Yes, that's the very famous Egyptian book. But anyway, I like the scoring of this game. It's always about, like, the thing is that if you put this card into scoring into pyramids, you cannot use it anymore in your deck, which means that either you want to get the cool ability in the card and use that card in your deck to acquire more cards and become better, or you will entomb it and score more points, and you have to balance it out throughout the game, which is
Yeah.
amazing, very tactical, but also very strategic. That's Valley of the Kings, and adds a lot of theme through those quotes.
Through the quotes only. I mean, it's not the most thematic of games, but it's a fine game.
Also, the art. I like the art. It's
Okay.
thematic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, my number three is another crossover that is Seven Wonders Duel, which I won't say much about because we've already said everything about it.
Yeah. I'm not going to show it then as well.
Yeah, don't show it.
All right. So Monsters Duel. Perfect two-player game. All right. Let's go to number two. My number two is yet another Japanese themed game, and it has a lot of mythology in it, and maybe some fake mythology as well.
As
Because
opposed to real mythology?
I mean, there is a kind of a fake mythology because it has a story to it. So you'll get it when I name the game, and it's Rising Sun.
Okay.
But Rising Sun takes place, and it's this is the world of ancient Japan. It's still that world, and it feels like that, and those different clans and warring clans. Let me say, I don't have Blood Rage on my list because with Blood Rage, with Vikings, it felt a little bit too much fantasy for me. But with
What?
yeah, but
Okay. Fine.
I don't know. I just couldn't. I
Too
don't
much
feel.
fantasy.
I don't feel ancient world in Blood Rage when I play that. But
Oh,
I totally,
I can definitely agree with that. I find it hard to include one and discount the other for having too much fantasy.
no, no, no. I mean, like, if Blood Rage didn't feel ancient for me, and this one I say it also has mythology, and Rising Sun also has mythology and fantasy, but it also has the feel of ancient for me. That's
Okay.
the difference. And
All right.
in this one, you are different clans, and you are trying to control the area. And the cool part about that is you choose the actions through those action tiles or political mandates. And you, as the if you choose this particular action, you get the bonus as you have chosen that, but everybody else will get to perform that action as well. So you kind of using and choosing the action for everyone, and
Mm-hmm.
you have those cool monsters, and you build yourself up throughout the game by getting those different cards. It doesn't show it here, but anyway, there are all the cards, different cards. I like that very much because you're kind of building up your engine. You're getting those special abilities. You're getting those different monsters as well that enhance your battles, basically. And I like the different special abilities of the clans. And the cool part, let it all be. So you basically customize yourself throughout the game. That's really, really nice. The cool part is the combat system where you can turn the tides by, spending extra coins on those. This is not the right spot for that, but basically you're spending extra coins to kind of do some small extra actions before the battle, and you can totally turn the tides. Like, let's say at first you are in a disadvantage during the battle, but throughout that kind of a phase of what's the war phase or something like that,
Yep.
you will basically you can basically turn the tides, which I really like about that one. It's very balanced for
Mhm.
me, and I have the Kickstarter version of the game with all the cool plastic pieces. This is the retail version, it seems, with usual stuff, but just a really cool game. Feels epic, plays epic, and has many cool Euro gamey mechanisms to it. And it feels like this ancient mythological Japan and trying
Yeah.
to fight each other.
Well, I definitely like Rising Sun a lot. I mean, I felt it was a little bit. Again, I discounted mythology for mine. You did mention Vikings though, which is interesting because I was going to put a Viking game, but for some reason Vikings don't feel as ancient world to me, so I did not put any on, even though I could see an obvious case for doing so.
Yeah, that's what
Anyway,
I also felt about, let's say, Blood
I didn't
Rage.
feel I didn't feel it because of the mythology though. I just felt the Vikings didn't quite feel like ancient what I thought of when I thought of ancient world. But then again, I also put cavemen and amoeba on my list, so I'm just making it up as
Yeah,
I go.
that's
Um,
maybe you understood me wrong. That's why I also excluded Blood Rage because it's the Viking theme doesn't feel ancient to me.
oh, okay, I
Yeah,
thought it
that's
was
what.
because you said
Sorry,
it
that's
had
what
too
I
much
wanted to say.
mythology.
Yeah.
Uh, okay,
No, 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 not no, no, not too much mythology. No,
okay,
I'd say it's also a lot of fantasy,
okay.
like Rising Sun. But the difference,
Anyway,
this one feels ancient Japan, and that one, the Vikings don't feel like ancient. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess I would say that the Japanese feel comes through a little stronger than the Viking feel of Blood Rage, but that's just my own opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number two is definitely an ancient world game. This is another ancient world culture we haven't discussed yet, and that is the game is Teotihuacan. I believe it's Mayan, but it might be Aztec. I can't really tell the difference, and that's because I'm uneducated. But it's sort of ancient New World, ancient America.
Um, Mesoamerica,
Yeah,
Pre-Columbian,
definitely. Pretty old.
Aztecs.
Aztec. Okay. It's you're building this pyramid. I debated between this one and Tzolk'in, which is the Mayan calendar game. For some reason, I mean, they're both by the same designer, I believe, and they kind of both feel the same to me. I just some days I like one better than the other, and currently I like Teotihuacan more than Tzolk'in. And they kind of would be the same level on the list for me. You've got a little rondel. You're going around the board, moving a couple of spaces each turn, and taking an action based on the strength of your worker, which is a die face. Those actions can range from buying technologies to building a pyramid to just gaining resources, but it's a nice, fast back and forth in the game. It doesn't last very long. The theme isn't super strong, I'll admit that, and honestly, I don't think the game looks that great, but it's a lot of fun to play, and it's a very interesting combination of mechanisms that make for a very interesting game in Teotihuacan.
Yeah, that's why probably I skipped it and will skip because I look at Tolkien, and Tolkien looks much better than this one because like look at that, just
I,
so
I'll admit
you
it's
can get
boring
me,
looking.
you kind of you can feel my opinion on that. So you look at the cover and you're like, ooh, really cool, nice, amazing, and then, boom, well, it's
It
like
definitely has its hues of brown and red.
it's like
So,
it's let me say, oh, it's the world of abyss, something like that. Let's say just abstract meaning of that. It's the world of abyss, and let's make it into an Excel game. It's like
mhm.
it just, oh my god, I look
well,
at that. When I look at that, I wanna put it on fire.
it doesn't win any points for being a beautiful game, but it definitely
Look at all the
is a great,
iconography.
well designed game. Well,
Wow,
the icons are actually, that's one thing that the icons are pretty good in it. Once you figure them out, it's pretty easy, and the game itself isn't that
I
hard
get
to
that.
learn.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
get that. It just
and again, I won't say that the theme comes through a lot, other than that you're building the pyramid.
this one
Um,
looks okay, but still looks very
mhm.
boring. But it's the most okay spot of that game. But
But
look at that! Oh my god,
it may look boring, but it's not.
look at that! Look, this one looks like the pyramid. When you're gonna build this one up, it looks nice. But everything else around it is just an Excel sheet. It's just, oh my god! All right, Libby. No,
Anyway,
no, I'm.
so that's my
It's
number
this.
two.
Yeah, this is very popular game. Many people love it. I will not play it because make the games beautiful, please. Otherwise, I will not play them. Thank you. Um, or I will play them like Golden Ages and still get rid
For
of them because
example.
they're ugly.
Uh-huh.
But all right, so I think let's go to number one. I think you already know what's my number one because first of
Summoner
all,
Wars?
yeah, almost. It's very ancient. It's from 2009. No, 7?
Summoner Wars is 2009.
2009. I'm right. But all right. So my number one is Cyclades. So it's no surprise. The thing about Cyclades is that when I thought about the ancient worlds and so on, that's where I thought about, should I include mythology or not? But Cyclades is a perfect combination of kind of feeling that ancient world of of Greece, different clans trying to survive and build cities, metropolis, and so on, and they are getting the help of the ancient gods, and that was their culture, that was their belief in the ancient world, in the ancient Greece. That's integral part of the ancient Greece. And when you talk about ancient Greece, you cannot skip the different gods and mythology itself. That's
Well,
where I
you
feel like,
can,
no,
but
but like it's just it's like if I talk about certain ancient worlds, I can skip mythology, but with ancient Roman Greece, I kind of feel like I cannot, especially with ancient Greece.
Mhm.
So much came from it's like we know about ancient Greece only through that mythology. It's if you ask somebody about the ancient Greece, they're gonna tell you about mythological things and tales and so on.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm not
there
sure
there
if they
were a
know
lot of
about
other
just,
things in ancient Greece.
yeah, but I don't think they're good.
There was
The first thing they're gonna
philosophy and
mention
science.
usually, yeah, are those mythological things, which are gods as well, uh,
Okay,
and their
well, it
stories.
it's again, this you wanted to include mythology. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'm not going to talk much about it, but Cyclades is a great kind of a. It's not engine building, but you build yourself up, and you want to get to metropolises, but you fight each other, and you're trying to build those ships. If we talk about the base game, not the Titans expansion, I don't like that expansion that much. I'm gonna give it another go though, and you are kind of a you're getting those different monsters to help you, and they come only for one turn to help you. And it's all about the economy and getting more coins, because the coins are spent on literally everything in the game, from bidding to starting from bidding to the monsters, to all the buildings and troops and ships and whatever. The central part of the game are the coins, basically. You need them for everything. But I like the Hades expansion, which adds a bunch of different modules to the game, and it's just a gorgeous game. It gives me the feel of the ancient world, of the mythology. Gorgeous to look at and just amazing to play. That's Cyclades, number one.
All right. I'm not really
Sorry.
surprised after you said you were including the mythological aspect, so I know
Sorry
you
about
like that game a lot.
Oh, I do.
You probably, I don't know if you could guess my number one, because again, I'm not pulling from my usual wheelhouse. I was tempted to say Chaos in the Old World just because of its name, but I didn't.
Let me think
My
about
number,
it.
okay,
Give me a small hint.
it's a game about trading.
Um, it's not the Lorenz. No,
It looks really boring.
it's Century Spice Road, something like that.
No, it's the game is Concordia.
Oh, Concord. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So I
Ah,
mean,
that
yeah,
one.
you know, I like that game a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's definitely sort of this ancient world. You've got a bunch of different maps. It's not, again, not the strongest themed game, and I don't know that it's the best looking game either. But at least they've, included colors. There's a new Venus expansion which I've got, but I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
But basically, it's essentially a rondel game, but instead of moving around a wheel, you've got a hand of cards, and you are picking the cards you want to do, doing an action, and then deciding at which point you want to pick them all back up again. Because, of course, that's not a very exciting turn. But depending on when you do it, you can get different bonuses. So there's sort of this nice balance between when you want to pick up your cards and when you want to play one. You're building up your own scoring system based on what you want to do. If you want to go for being in lots of places, you can do that. If you want to go for production of a lot of resources, you can buy cards that will help you get that. It kind of has a loosely pasted on Roman theme, but it's mostly a mechanical game. But I like those mechanisms, and it feels ancient worldy to me, sort of, and I quite enjoy it. That is my number one ancient world game, Concordia.
Cool. Haven't played it. Maybe I'll play it someday. Somebody
You
says I
might like
should
it. I
should
always tell
play
you
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So sometime
Yeah.
you'll have to catch me and make me play it with you, which won't be very hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I should try it at least. Good. So that's. Wait, where's the screen sharing? Stop. Stop it. And so I'm not gonna focus on myself only. Okay. So this is it for the episode of the top 10 ancient world games. We tried another segment, which is what's on Kickstarter. You can always say if
Mm-hmm.
it worked or not. I'm sorry about like today. My brain is totally dead, so I'm not very fluent with my speeches here. I'm sorry about that, and kind of slow.
I don't know what your excuse is every other day.
But it's night as well. It's night for me,
Ah,
so and I'm sleepy. So, but anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in another episode of Würfel Cast. Maybe we'll do underrated games now next time. We'll
maybe we
see.
will.
Maybe something
All
else.
right,
We'll see about that. But
maybe
also, don't forget
it's
to
a
subscribe.
surprise.
Oh yeah, surprise! Top 10 surprises. Good. Yeah, that's a good topic. Um, But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and look for Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and post some comments in the description below. Not in the description, under this video below. Sorry, I'm just told you that. But tell us, what's your favorite ancient world game or games? And if you agree with me, should I have if it was wrong or right to include ancient mythological games as well, or Kyle was right, or maybe his prehistoric games like Primordial Soup doesn't fit into
That one
ancient
felt
world
like
games.
cheating, but that's okay.
Anyway, yeah, you can add it all in the comments below. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you another time. That was Ilya over here on this side.
And Kyle from the US, so I'll see you later.
Yeah, and so on. Bye bye.